so when you went to the States too, I think it's the same thing. You arrive, you have a 4-hour trip, and there's not enough sleep time.
No.
And then Airwaves, which you are like a veteran of at this point, you don't sleep anyway, right?
No, but it's mostly a busy festival. But this is the first festival in many years where we were just playing
one
on the venue show. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like there's been times that you've played maybe, what is the most, like 7, 10?
7 times, I think 7 or 8
probably.
times.
Yeah.
I think that was the most shows we did. But then we've mostly been doing 2 big shows.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes like 1 or 2 of venues.
But now we just have 1.
Why did you just, was there a reason for that, or was it like just
I think,
it was
both.
just,
It was
I
just
don't know,
a
it
decision that was
happened,
made, and we're playing new material. So we kind of wanted just to focus on one show.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about, new material. What, because I think, is it kinder versions or kinder versions?
Kinder.
Okay, the reason I asked that is Kinder chocolate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I've never
Kinder is like a child. In German.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if even though I know that's an English album, I was like, well, maybe they meant it as Kinder.
Yeah.
But that was in 2017. So why don't you catch me up to what's been happening in terms of what's next from then to now?
Yeah. So we've been for the past past half year or so, we've been recording and writing and recording a new album, which is newly mixed right now, and it's going to be mastered pretty soon.
Do we know the name of it?
The name is not there yet.
Okay.
Or not to be exposed anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we have our first single out, and that single is called "Forever on Your Mind."
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the first single, but the name
hasn't been decided, or isn't. We don't. Yeah. But tonight we're gonna play that song, "Forever on Your Mind," and also 3 other songs from the new album
That no one's heard before.
Yeah, and we've never it's premiering of those songs.
Do you have the names for those songs? Can you tell us a little bit about those yet, or not so much?
The title, we can tell you the titles.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
One of the titles is called "Between the Sun and Me."
Between the Sun and Me, okay.
And then there's one called "Solomon."
Solomon.
And then "Still Like a Mountain."
Yeah.
So, okay, is there a theme that is happening with the new album? Do you feel like I know it sounds like you're still working on it a little bit, you're mixing it, but would you say there's a certain vibe about this that maybe is different or similar to kinder versions?
I think it's a bit, it's bright, definitely brighter.
Okay.
A little more hopefulness in it. And I think we are all seeing now that it's a little bit about after the storm, when everything the dust is settling, and you're kind of reflecting on when you're inside a tornado and you come out of it. So it's a little bit on looking.
Coming out on the other side.
Yeah, coming out on the other side.
So more positive, would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's not probably as heavy as the kinder versions one. Also, just the process of the album has been just in every way kind of lighter, maybe you would say. Not as heavy as the kinder versions process.
Why do you think that is? Did something change between then and now?
I think
we just needed a process, album making process that wasn't as heavy as the last one, because the last one was really, it was really positive, but it was very heavy.
Yeah. So I think it's just an answer to kinder. We're not repeating the album, so so we're taking it definitely into another direction.
Yeah.
But then again, you never know how it really sounds until
it's finished.
It's finished, and also you can see it later on when it's out there.
is this, you had decided, so with the 2017 kind of versions and also the EP that came before, it was the first time you had done like full-on English albums. Well, first I want to ask you, are you happy that you decided to do that? And is this new one also all in English, or is it a mix?
It's all in English.
Okay.
So this is kind of our first EP that we was released. That was a translation of Icelandic songs. So
Yep.
kind of version was like our first proper LP album in English. So this is our second English speaking, singing
Yes.
LP.
LP. But yeah, I'm happy with it at the moment. But we talked a little bit about Icelandic lyrics in this process. So maybe we'll get back to it, I don't know. But at the moment we are very happy with it.
It's interesting because, like, I mean, obviously, because I don't speak Icelandic, although I feel like you can feel emotion no matter what a language is, right? If someone creates it. I was happy because people who hadn't been to Iceland could be, like, exposed and, like, understand where you're coming from musically, so, like, that I think that, like, is good. It's a language that other people can also, like, get. But at the same time, I'm sure, like, I've seen people be like, I miss the Icelandic, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how does that feel, like, on the artist side? So to me, I don't care which language as long as it's still beautiful, which you make beautiful work. So, you know, either way, I like the English only because I understand it, but that doesn't mean that I don't also love your Icelandic. But when you have critics like that, what does that feel like to you, or how do you respond to that?
I really haven't. It didn't hit me like very. Like I think I understand it because I know, like, also that music is the only, like, international language.
It is. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking.
Exactly.
You feel it.
Yeah. And that's
it's
part
here.
of the melody and the music.
Exactly.
Yes, it's here.
Expression, yeah. So, but I think it was. It didn't really affect me, like, when people were saying this, because I felt like this was a important step for us, and for us as stepping outside, like, Iceland and just exploring new territories.
Yes.
And also me as a lyric writer.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting process to dig into another language and see, also digging into like pop lyrics, because there's so much that has been written in English pop history.
Totally.
So you're always, like, connecting into, like, these huge icons, like, lyric wise. So I thought that was very fun to play around with that. So I think as an artist, I think you have to be kind of also just, you know, really think what you want to do at the moment, and then always somebody will have a harsh reaction to it, or
I
will
feel
not
like
it.
I feel like anytime someone's old school, anytime something changes, like
Yeah.
fans are always like, boo.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's fascinating because I think language is interesting. Like, certain things, like, rhyme differently in different languages, and it must be, like, a challenge to, like, when you try a different, like, lyrical form, if that makes any sense. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I speak a couple languages, but not really well on the other one. So
No, but also because when I'm singing in English and Icelandic, it also changes my voice, you know. Because,
does it really?
Yeah, I think in a way, because there's, like, you
Different
lose a lot of
sounds.
sound. So I felt like I was also, I had to explore my voice again.
Exactly. So it's a bit like, you know, it's not just about connecting to more people, which it, you know, also is, but it's also about just transgressing as an artist, because it's something new. Like, I mean, of course, it's because you are singing, so it's for you. But yeah, so it's something new to kind of explore. And if you don't continue doing stuff like that, like change things and having to deal with different kinds of stuff, it tends to get a bit stale.
Yeah.
So it's also just for us.
Yeah, also just for us.
Yeah.
And also because being on stage, especially here on Airwaves. At one point, I think it was maybe 2015 or something, or 14, I stood on stage and I saw all these people and had, like, new faces, and I we have been in a band then for more than 10 years, and all of us, and we had been playing so much abroad, and I felt like I so much want them to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
And there was like you know, and I want to broaden it, you know, like get more people in, and also I want to open new doors and get more people in, and we want
Exactly.
to like that's what was also like open doors into other people that don't listen to foreign speaking music.
No,
and blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah.
So there's you know, there was lots of reasons, both like, you know, to get to play bigger, or just I don't know.
I think
Part of the game.
challenge is important, like as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when you're a
exactly.
creative human being, like you need to. So on that note, sorry. On the new song, there's like the bass is like different. Like I was like, oh, this is like cool. So that's, I guess I was like wondering if there were like other new elements that you were sort of adding. Not that you obviously you've always had bass, but like I feel like there was a different. It felt a little different vibe. Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
So what are some other things you explored on the new material?
We explored a lot. We went into, I mean, there was a travel into new guitar sounds, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, the guitar sounds definitely. We took them and kind of just exploded. We kind of blew them up just into all directions, and never really kind of hesitated to use something that we haven't used before, because it sounded well there, and good over there and such, and so I think like all the sounds, you know, basically every guitar sounds different from the other one,
Okay.
or from the next one. So, and that's also a challenge to then take from the album and then kind of project it on stage. It's also like one of these challenges that we've been kind of facing, you know, like not facing,
Translated from the studio
yeah,
on stage.
yeah, because the album was also written differently from the previous ones, because not because, but in that way that it was really much done in the studio.
Yeah, improvising in the studio.
Improvising in the studio.
So recreating that live is a different experience, yeah.
Because normally maybe we've been playing the songs over and over again, like,
And then we
and
go into
forming
the
them in our like rehearsal space, and then coming into the studio with like quite finished songs and recording them. Of course, adding a lot of stuff afterwards, but now it was kind of we wrote it in the studio, like a big part of it was like that. So now we have to take it from there and on stage.
2 more questions, I promise, and we're done. Because I know you're ready. Really quickly, so that was one of the things I love about your band, is that like not every band can both do like the live the same way as like the albums, and people are really good at being album bands. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there's some people that are like really good at just live, but you have both. And the energy and the like, again, the communicating of that has been like one of my favorite things about you. But okay, that's just me talking. Like questions, let's really quickly, since you've been doing this since like you were, I think the first time I saw you were a teenager.
Yeah.
So we're on the cusp of the 2010s being over. I wanted to ask you if you had a favorite moment from Airwaves in the last 2010s, because you've been playing for so long. I would love to have that, and then we can end with that, because it looks like they want us to be done.
I think my favorite Airwaves is I think it was 2014. It was like a transition. I think it was like a very important crossroad in our live performances.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were?
We were playing in Gamla Bíó.
Oh yeah.
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 And we were angry at something, or we
Yeah,
were like
that
very
thing.
much like we were fed up with
the music.
Yeah, and we've been
business,
playing on so
music
much
industry.
on like what do you say, like these
showcase festivals all
where you're
over
always
Europe.
like a monkey, like playing, you know. And all of a sudden we were like, and I had been doing some performances in my performance art with sheep blood, so we covered our hair in sheep blood and we went on stage.
Yeah,
and,
we did like a ritual before, and covered ourselves with blood, and then we just went there and just basically to
Yeah, there's
I don't know
something
what we
happened,
did.
and there was something that changed in our live performances because I don't know what happened, and I don't know what. Yeah, it was something that happened.
It
then.
just came like
And-
straight from the gut.
Yeah.
And that was in 2015?
No, it was 2014.
2014 or
Yeah.
something like that.
And
yeah.
ever since then, everything's changed. and-
Yeah, I think it was like a big step in our live performance set. We just
Yeah.
kind of there was something that happened when we did that together. Or we went, we stepped on over a line.
And
Yeah,
that's the next thing.
Yeah, it was.
That's very cool. Okay, so we're gonna end. But tell me again the date that I can expect the new album. Do we know?
It's in February. I don't know, early 2020.
Same label, new label.
It will all clear
It will
itself
clear.
Later?
in the
Okay.
very near future.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. This was lovely. I'm excited to hear the new stuff.